On September 11, 1997, Dunbar Armored fired a safety officer in Los Angeles. The next night, his crew walked in with a key he provided. In 30 minutes, $18.9 million was gone. For 2 years, the FBI had nothing. In the next 9 minutes, you'll see what they finally found. His name was Alan Pace III. He was 29 years old, from Compton. He had toured every Dunbar facility in California for 2 years. He knew every camera, every guard rotation, every blind spot in the depot on Mateo Street downtown. His job was fire extinguishers and worker safety. The day before the robbery, Dunbar fired him for tampering with company vehicles. The key came from him. He had been planning the night for months, maybe longer. He brought 5 accomplices with him to the depot the next night. Most were men he had known for years from his old neighborhood. Prosecutors would later say, Pace recruited them. He gave them a floor plan of the building. He gave them photographs of the facility. He gave them the key. He gave them radio headsets so they could talk inside the depot. For 2 years, he had walked through the building as a safety officer. He had seen everything. On the evening of September 12th, he sent the crew through a house party built to create alibis. He had built his crew. He had built his entry. He was ready. On the evening of September 12th, the crew gathered at a house party in Long Beach. It was a ruse. The party was Pace's idea. Everyone in one place, in front of witnesses, to establish alibis. After midnight, they were at the Dunbar Armored Depot on Mateo Street in downtown Los Angeles. They were dressed in black. They wore the radio headsets Pace had given them. At the loading dock, they used the key. Inside, a handful of employees were on duty for the overnight shift. The crew rounded them up, ordered them face down on the floor, and bound their hands and feet with duct tape. With Pace leading the way, the crew moved into the vault area. They tied up more employees. They came to the metal cages where the cash was kept. They used bolt cutters on the padlocks. Most of the bills inside were 20s, bundled and strapped, bound for automated teller machines across Los Angeles. Most of it was in 20s. Altogether, $18.9 million. The crew loaded the cash into a 14-foot U-Haul truck, waiting at the loading dock. 30 minutes after entry, they were gone. After the crew left, the employees got free. The largest cash-armed robbery in U.S. history had just ended. The FBI was about to start a 2-year search with almost nothing to follow. Investigators searching the loading dock after the robbery found one thing: a plastic taillight lens that did not belong to any Dunbar truck. The FBI sent it to their forensics lab in Washington. The lab matched it to one make of vehicle, a 14-foot U-Haul rental truck. But the clue was of little value. With no stronger lead, the investigation went cold. 2 years passed. Then in 1999, an informant gave investigators a name: Eugene Lamar Hill Jr., 34, of Bellflower, California. Detectives pulled U-Haul records. Hill had rented a 14-foot truck the day before the Dunbar heist and returned it the day after. When they arrested him, Hill had a stack of cash in his possession. The bills were still bound in the original currency wrappers from the Dunbar depot. At his arrest, he was carrying the one piece of evidence that could not be explained. That was the thread. The FBI pulled it, and the whole crew came with it. In March 2000, FBI agents arrested 6 men, all 5 of Pace's accomplices, and Pace himself. 2.5 years after the heist, the crew was in federal custody. 6 months later, federal prosecutors indicted 2 more people, a lawyer named David Matsumoto and his paralegal, Joaquin Bin. They were accused of laundering $1.6 million of the stolen Dunbar cash through a Houston company called Combustion Process Manufacturing. More than 50 checks, more than $1.4 million in transfers. By early 2001, Pace and Eric Damon Boyd were on trial. The other 4 men had already pleaded guilty. Pace testified in his own defense. He denied planning the robbery. He denied taking part in it. He said he had been framed by one of the other defendants because I was messing with his wife. The jury did not believe him. On February 27, 2001, a federal jury convicted Pace and Boyd of taking part in the robbery. The judge read the verdicts in the downtown Los Angeles courtroom. Pace, 30 years old, lowered his head as she spoke. The man who had built the largest cash robbery in U.S. history was now a convicted felon waiting to be sentenced. On April 23, 2001, Eric Damon Boyd was sentenced to more than 17 years in federal prison. 2 months later, Alan Pace III was sentenced to 24 years and 2 months and ordered to repay the $18.9 million. Judge Baird spoke to him from the bench. She said, "You were the employee who knew about the money. You were the one who got everybody else involved." Pace stood silently in a green jacket and sandals. About $5 million was recovered, mostly as houses, cars, and valuables the crew had bought. In 2001, more than $10 million was still unaccounted for, U.S. Attorney Alejandro Mayorkas told the court. The lead FBI agent told reporters the case was not closed. For nearly 3 decades, the Dunbar heist held the record as the largest cash robbery in American history. That record fell on Easter Sunday 2024, when another crew breached a Garda World vault in Sylmar, California, and took about $30 million. Alan Pace III was released from federal prison on October 1, 2020. He has not spoken publicly since.